Hey, I'm Brian, and this is Real Estate Nuggets. It's a real estate podcast for realtors of realtors. Does that make sense? It's about realtors. You're going to learn things about realtors, and if you're a realtor, you're going to like it. So, I get to interview, I'm a mortgage broker, and I get to interview realtors from all over the country. And today we're going deep in the middle, Kansas City. Is that fair?
Woo!
Kansas City? Yeah.
Yeah.
Woohoo. Ann Walter is a realtor in Kansas City, and she's going to share all the things she knows with us today about how she's gotten so successful in Kansas City. Hello, Ann.
Hi, Brian.
Don't I sound like professional? Hi, Ann. Welcome. You and I know each other through Buffini, right?
We do.
And we know a lot of people in Buffini, and so when I thought of Kansas City, I thought of you.
Excellent. I'm glad that I was the person you thought of for Kansas City. Kansas City's a great spot.
There's a few people in Kansas City, and you're the first one I thought of, so there.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions to kind of learn some things from you and share it with the world, okay?
Okay.
But for starters, tell everyone how long you've been in the business and what made you decide to become a realtor. Realtor.
Okay. So I have been in the business 16 years. I started in the business of January of 2010, which I think you can remember what the economy was like.
It was not fun.
It was not for the faint of heart.
Yeah.
In a different way than this market is not for the faint of heart.
Yeah.
And my husband and I had gotten married in June of 2009. And exactly 30 days later, my mom passed away unexpectedly of a stroke.
Ooh.
And I was working for an outpatient cardiology clinic. I have a master's degree in nursing. And I was working for an outpatient cardiology clinic, and it was not for me. It was not the pace. It was not the challenge. It was not the job.
What do you mean the pace? Was it too
Too
pacey? Too
I was
slow. Interesting.
I was bored.
That's not what it's like on TV, though.
It is in a clinic.
Oh, okay.
Clinic life just wasn't for me. Either it's for you or it's not.
Okay.
And it was not for me. And we had just gotten married. We each owned a home. And Bryce knew that I was miserable. And again, we'd been married 30 days. And he knew that I was miserable. And he said, well, if you can sell your house, you can quit your job. I was like, all right.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did what I don't like now. And I did a for sale by owner.
Mm.
And I sold my own home. That was my first listing, was my home. I was not licensed. I got it under contract in 10 days,
Wow.
which was a pretty incredible feat if you think about the fall of 2009.
Yeah. You must have had it priced right, and it showed well.
Yep, yep. And he was like, why don't you do this for a job? I was like, no. I said, I'm a nurse. Like, I have a master's degree in nursing. I'm not a used car salesman. Like, I'm a high integrity person.
Yeah.
Real estate's not for me.
Right.
Because obviously I had not had a great experience.
So why did you become a realtor?
And the more we talked about it, the more it made sense. He introduced me to a connection of his that retired from Sprint. You know, Sprint was a big company in Kansas City. And a guy that he worked with at Sprint had gotten his real estate license and was doing really well. And so I met with him. He was really nice. We matched. He was, great. And he said, well, why don't you meet with my broker? And so I was like, okay, fine. So I went and met with the broker, and she was lovely. And I thought, well, okay, I'll try it. I mean, I was just so sick of what I was doing that I needed and wanted to do something differently. And so the day that my house closed, I sent my 2 weeks notice to my nursing job.
Wow.
So
So go back to that time when you think about your first, few months on the job, on the new job. What do you remember as being the biggest challenge for you starting out as a new realtor?
I mean, there's no guidebook, right? Like, there is no guidebook. And so
You mean no one's telling you what to do?
yeah, no.
Yeah.
I'm really good at the people part. I'm really good at the relationship part. And that's the key to success in making it in real estate. But at the end of the day, you've got to know how to run a business.
Yeah.
And so what I committed to early on, this was before people worked from home, right? What I committed to early on was showing up at the office every day.
Mm.
And so that's what I did. And I listened to other people on the phone in the office, and I absorbed their knowledge. And I would ask questions, and I would ask to go along with them on appointments. I didn't have, I didn't walk into this huge book of business. All my people were healthcare people.
How long, let me ask you this, how long did it take for you to feel like, all right, I'm not brand new anymore?
18 months.
Yeah. What was the turning point for you?
When I started having consistent income.
Wow, 18 months you started turning it out. That's impressive.
Yep. When I started having consistent income, I was like, okay, maybe I am doing this. Like, maybe this is working. Because it's a tough feeling. It's the same for you. It's a tough feeling to go to work every day and you show up and you don't get paid, right? Like, I'm not just collecting a check for showing up.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, you're, by all definitions, you're self-employed.
Yep.
And you're right, no one tells you what to do. And even though those should be enough, there's still so many people in the mortgage business, in the real estate business, who show up without a business plan. And I think that that's kind of your point. Like, no one tells you how to do it, so you've got to figure it out. And figuring it out should mean literally writing it down and putting a plan together. And if you don't know how, then that's when you need to surround yourself with people who can help you.
Yeah. Well, and that's one of the things that was such a blessing in the beginning, is that I did find my way into the right office, and they helped me. And I remember the CFO sitting me down and talking to me about the financial aspect of it. And she said, make sure you go ahead and get 2 business bank accounts set up. She said, get one set up for your operating expenses and get one set up so that you can pay your taxes and fully fund your retirement.
God, she's smart.
She was very smart, and she, gave me the form, and I filled it out for direct deposit, and, a large percentage of the money went to that taxes and retirement account, and the rest went to the operating expenses account.
Yeah.
And so when those quarterlies were due, I've always had the money.
Brilliant. It took us so long to figure that part out, just opening up a tax savings account. I'm not even going to tell you how many years. A long time, until, you can fake it. You can just kind of be in business, make money, and then some year when the market slows down, which is what I'm going to ask you about next, but when the market slows down and maybe you don't have enough money to pay the taxes, that's when you realize, oh, I really need to plan ahead for this. All right, so you started in 2010. That was a unique time, and over those last 16 years, you've had slow markets, right?
Yep.
So what do you do when business is slow? How do you stay productive when business is slow?
I do the same thing when the business is slow as I do when the business is busy.
Which is what?
I always focus on my connections that I should be making. It's easy to isolate yourself in this business and in life, because we all walk around with these devices that are supposed to connect us and end up isolating us. And I'm very intentional about the connections that I make. And I know how many connections I need to make in order to have a closing.
How many do you need to make?
About 30.
And 30 connections could be 30 phone calls, 30 face-to-face, 30 whatever.
Yep. And I'm working to get that number down. Part of the reason that's higher is because we do a lot of, I track everything, right? But we do a lot of calls surrounding our events. I have client events throughout the year.
Yeah.
And so, those calls are tracked too.
Okay. So when you're slow, you're still doing the same type of lead generation you're doing when it's busy, and it's probably harder to do when it's busy. Yep. But when it is slower, or when you're not getting the listing, or when the buyer hires a different realtor, how do you handle that kind of rejection?
I'm lucky I've been doing this a long time. I don't take it as personally now as I did initially.
Yeah.
Um, one of the books that I read years ago was The Four Agreements.
Oh, yeah. I think I
Right?
might have heard of that.
Yeah. I come back to that book a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's really, I'm really sensitive, and it's really easy for me to take things personally. So when someone chooses not to partner with me, I take it personally.
Yeah.
I have gotten to a place where I can be like, you know what? For whatever reason, that didn't work out. And I usually learn something from it. Or I look at it as they're doing what they think is best for them.
Mm.
Right? Like it's not a personal attack on me or how I run my business. They're making the decision that they feel like is the best fit for them and their position.
And how did you come to that place? Did someone help you figure that out, or was it just you've trial and error and ended up figuring it out yourself?
Coaching has helped me figure that out.
Yeah.
Coaching has helped a lot with that because it's easy to, I should have done XYZ, or if I had just done so and so. And most of the time it's something, if I don't get chosen, which doesn't happen very often
Mm-hmm.
because my business is 100% referral. If I don't get chosen, it's usually something that's I don't have any agency over,
Right.
right?
So you mentioned coaching. How long have you been in coaching?
I got in coaching about a year and a half after I got in the business.
Okay. So you've been in it for 14 and a half years?
Yeah, so 14 years. Yeah, it'll be 14 years next month.
Why are you still in it?
I need to keep growing.
You're still learning?
I'm still learning.
You haven't figured it out yet?
It's one of my lifelong values, Brian, is to
Oh,
keep
okay.
learning.
All right, that's fair.
You know as well as I do that this business is different every single year.
Mm-hmm.
And even though I say that I do the same things in a busy versus a slow market, there's obviously nuance to that.
Mm-hmm.
And there are really interesting factors at play in the market. And it's important to have somebody that can be a sounding board when I'm super hard on myself, and they can say, that is not legitimate.
Mm.
You are telling stories. Or they can say, whoa, look at this. Like, you totally crushed it in this area. Like, you're way ahead of where we thought you were going to be. Just having somebody to continue to call that out, because, again, it's so easy to be isolated in this business because we are all independent business owners.
I was telling someone the other day that the reason I got into coaching, which for me was about 17 years ago, the reason I got into coaching back then was totally different than the reason I'm in it now. And for me, I remember there were three things that I got out of coaching. One was the systems, learning how to kind of put together or structure a business. The second thing was the accountability that comes with coaching. And then third was the community of other people that were in it and what I learned from them. And now, and I don't know where, somewhere along the last 17 years, it's kind of flip-flopped to where the number one thing I get out of coaching is the community. And the accountability is still okay. It's still helpful. But the systems and whatnot, how many times do I need to structure my business? Like, once it's set up, and there's tweaks, and like you said, there's nuances. But it's interesting to think about how I'm still in it for just completely different reasons as to why I got in it.
Well, and I don't know if you know this story, but the way that I got to coaching was I wanted the marketing kit.
Oh, yeah. No, I didn't know that.
Because I was trying to reduce my own mind share, and I needed good marketing pieces, and I thought, oh my gosh, these look professional, these are so well done, I can send these out once a month, these will provide value and help me build my business. When I signed up for those marketing kits, I had no idea what their business coaching was.
You just wanted the box.
I wanted the box. I wanted the marketing. I was like, this is great. These are lovely pieces. People will think I'm a professional. Um, and
So
so I didn't even know that was a thing when I signed up.
that's funny. And now look at you,
And now here I am.
still here. All right.
And I'm
So
with you. Like the community piece of it has, I never would have guessed that.
yeah,
And that is the biggest ongoing gift.
I'm very pragmatic at times, and I remember thinking, well, all right, am I like this? All sounds good, the idea of getting a business coach, but how much does it cost, and how much do I need to make to pay for it? Well, I only really need one more loan,
One more deal. Yep,
one more
that's what
deal.
it was for me.
So if I do this, do I think I'll do one more deal this year? And I was like, you know, do a lot more than one more deal from all this. So yeah, I do think for anyone that's listening that's not in coaching, yeah, it works.
Yeah.
But we're going to move on because I want to ask you some other things, and we don't have all day, right? You've got 2 kids, right? And a husband, and you, and I heard the dogs before, right?
Yes.
How many dogs?
You heard what? You heard one dog because the FedEx truck must have driven through.
Oh, okay. All right, so you got a full house. Here's a question. How do you maintain balance between your business and family life?
I am very scheduled. I'm a really structured person. So all the kid and family stuff goes on the calendar first,
Mm-hmm.
right? My boys just started back to school, and of course, as soon as they start, here come all the signups, right? Like, we need you to volunteer here, we need you to sign up to be so-and-so, we need you to do all these things. I get that all done, get it all signed up, and then it just goes in my calendar. And so those are protected times, that nothing else gets scheduled over. And, when it comes to days off and vacation, I do the same thing.
So you've got family something scheduled, and then you've got a call for a super big listing or a super big buyer, and you hold on to your priorities?
Yep. I mean, if somebody wants to meet with me, we'll find a time to meet, but I'm not going to skip something that I've committed to for my
Yeah.
family to go have a meeting with somebody that I'm not sure is sold on me.
That's a good way to look at it. And I think a lot of people assume that their family's flexible, and so they will bend.
Yeah. And I'm not saying that I'm not on the phone in the parking lot of a flag football game on a Saturday morning,
Yeah,
because that's true.
yeah,
Because you have to fit it in, right? Like there's things that happen that are happening within the business. But I will say in 16 years of business, I've gotten way better about setting expectations with clients and about thinking about it from my standpoint of like, does this truly need to be handled within the next 1 hour or 30 minutes or whatever it is? Because my background was healthcare and I was a cardiology nurse. Okay, people died in my job,
yeah.
right? Like when I was inpatient, people died in my job.
Your customers died.
Yeah, those
Yeah.
really were emergencies.
Yeah,
Somebody getting a response within 30 minutes from me
yeah,
about something that actually doesn't need to be handled for another week and a half.
yep. You're right.
I'll get to it, but I'm
Yep.
not going to prioritize it over something else I'm committed to. And if I'm committed to doing homework with my kids, I'm not going to prioritize that because it's not an emergency.
Well, whether it's priorities or boundaries, it sounds like you've got them figured out. And you remind me of something my processor, Shelley, always tells me. If we've got a situation, something that's stressful or, difficult, she'll remind me. She goes, we're not clamping arteries. Like, it's going to be fine. It'll be okay.
No. Well, and for me, I think proactive communication goes a long way.
Yep.
Like just telling somebody I'm not going to be able, if you're in the middle of something, right? Communicating, I'm not going to be available again until after 4 o'clock. Or
Yep.
I'm not available at this time, I can do this time. Just communicating what your availability is, because one of the things that I find so frustrating about our industry, and it overflows to you too, but people expect that we're available at all hours of the day and night, no matter
Mhm.
what.
I talked to someone a couple hours ago. He's a lender, and he said, "Hey, I work realtor hours. You can call me anytime." And I'm like,
No.
"No."
I mean, I'm clear with my clients, like, you're not going to talk to me after 7 p.m.
Yeah.
unless we're in the midst of a negotiation. Because here's the thing, you're not getting the best version of me after hours. I'm probably tired. Bedtime isn't a fight anymore because my kids are older.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe I've fought kids going to bed,
Yeah.
or something else has come up, and it's like, you are not getting the best version of Ian Walter at 8 p.m.
Good point. Good point.
So
Good answer.
setting that expectation, then people are like, oh, okay, great.
All right, different question. Ready? What's one habit of yours that has the biggest impact on your success?
Prioritizing time for myself.
I believe you.
Yeah, I mean, I go for a walk every morning.
Yeah.
I call it my emotional lap.
Mm-hmm. How far is it? How far do you go?
Depends on the day. It depends on how much time I have.
Okay.
Could be as short as 15 or 20 minutes. Could be 45 minutes.
Okay.
It just kind of depends on the day. But that's where I start.
Mm-hmm.
I also get up before everybody else in my house, so that the day starts off the right way for me.
What time do you get up?
Between 5:30 and 6 right now.
Yeah.
The answer needs to be 5:30. But right now it's between 5:30 and 6. And if I can prioritize and win some of the day for myself first, then things tend to go more smoothly.
You take the dogs out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm the first one up. No one else is up when I'm up.
Yeah. Yeah. You and I have a lot in common. In Arizona, you have to get out, like in the summer, you have to get out at 5:30 or 6:30 before it gets above 90. And that's when we do the dogs, or the dog.
Yeah.
All right, I wanted to ask you this at the top, but it would have been weird to start here. So let's assume that you're successful at what you do, okay?
Yep.
Why do you succeed when so many other people don't?
I don't quit, which can be to my detriment.
What do you mean?
I get it done. Like, I am somebody that once I start something, I will take it to the end.
Can you give me an example? Please?
I've had some real fun deals this year. And deals that I think, had another agent been the agent on the seat, it wouldn't have gotten closed. Because I am really freaking good at getting other people to work together. Like, we all have a common goal, right? To get across the finish line and have a good outcome for whoever the seller is and whoever the buyer is.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes those interests are not aligned. And sometimes you got to work really hard to figure out how to work together to make sure that you are getting the best for everybody.
Is it harder to get the other agent to work with you, or is it harder to get the client to work with you?
I've had good agents this year.
Yeah.
I would say on the whole, the rule is the agent. My clients are awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, my business is 100% referral, and so everybody that comes to me through somebody that I have a good relationship with, and so they're great.
The reason I ask is a good friend of mine, maybe ours in Tampa, is telling me all of her complaints are around other agents and the lack of professionalism and not showing up to showings, things like that.
I gotta say, I can't complain too loudly this year.
Good.
Because I've had good luck.
Good.
I've worked with some really true professionals on the other end. Now, some of them are difficult to work with because I'm not quite sure how they get anything done in a day. And I understand why they say they work all day and all night, because they can't organize and focus.
Yeah.
But I think it's my inability to not quit.
Okay.
My overarching personality trait is somebody that gives. Like, I do things, for the care and benefit of others.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a helpful trait to have in this business. But that's also a trait that can be taken advantage of.
You would have been a good nurse.
Yeah,
You were.
I was that too. I'm still licensed, as a matter of fact.
All right, so we've been talking about success and why, and on the other side of that is failure. So if I ask you to think about maybe one of your biggest failures, what comes to mind, and how did you recover from it?
I had a really terrible year in business last year.
Why was it terrible? You mean numbers, or?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
just didn't hit the numbers I wanted to hit. I didn't make the income I wanted to make. I mean, it was a slog. Now, granted, it was the lowest number of real estate sales since 1995 last year. So we were all in the same boat, but that's not the standard I hold myself to.
Mm.
My goal is to always outperform the market. And I didn't outperform the market last year. And it was a variety of factors. I had hired a new assistant.
Name one or two factors. Why?
I had hired a new assistant,
Mm-hmm.
which always impacts your business. And I was still figuring out recovery from this brain injury.
Oh.
So, those two things combined with really tough market conditions,
Yeah.
it made for a really difficult and unsatisfying year.
And so how do you recover from that?
Thank God I had the right coach.
Yeah.
Because it's easy to want to quit
Mm-hmm.
when it looks like that. And she did a great job of looking at what I had in play, what I had coming, and providing wisdom about what I had to come and what I could look forward to.
When you said hiring an assistant, a new assistant can affect your year, is that because you're spending some of your time training and helping him or her get up to speed when you could be spending that time generating business?
So one of the things that I've heard over the years is that hiring a new assistant can have a 25 to 30% impact on your business, like down.
Mm-hmm.
And that's true. And my assistant, she's been with me, it'll be 2 years this fall. She had zero background in real estate.
I wonder what the number is if you don't hire an assistant, what kind of impact that has on your business.
Yeah, bigger than that.
It's almost like I think there's always a Springsteen song that refers to anything important, and he's got a song called One Step Up, Two Steps Back. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that's what you're describing with an assistant sometimes.
Yeah.
Maybe it's one step back and two steps forward. I don't know, but it's gonna be a challenge.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, when you think about somebody coming into the industry with zero market knowledge,
Mm-hmm.
She'd never worked in the industry, she'd never bought a home, right?
Yeah.
She'd never
So
sold a home.
why did you hire her?
She's great with people.
How long has she been with you? A year?
It'll be 2 years this fall.
Okay, good. That's awesome. All right, we have time for two more questions. You ready?
Yep.
If you can imagine, there's a brand new realtor out there listening to this wonderful podcast. What's one piece of advice you would give someone who's just starting out in the business?
Be diligent about your budget.
Meaning?
There are a million shiny objects in real estate. You can sign up for 1 million programs. They'll sell you 1 million ads on Instagram. You can buy, internet lead coaching for $3,500 a month. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Be careful with how you spend your money. And number 2 is find a great mentor.
Yeah.
Get a referral for someone that is running a successful business that looks like something you want to do, and spend as much time as you can with that person.
That's good advice. Last question. Do you have an exit strategy for this business?
This is a hard business to have an exit strategy for.
Not many people have a good answer for this question.
Uh-huh. I don't.
Okay.
I can see myself doing this for another 20 years.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, that's okay. But then, like, the idea of how do I wrap it up?
yeah,
Most people don't have an answer. I think I've had one person who had a really clear answer.
yeah. I mean, I know that I built a business that I can sell,
Mm-hmm.
and so that will be the end goal, is to be able to sell my book of business when the time is right someday.
Okay. 20 years.
Maybe, give or
Maybe.
take.
All right. Are you a Chiefs fan?
Yes, of course I'm a Chiefs fan.
They're struggling, aren't they?
Well, I mean, you can't be number one all the time.
That's true. I grew up in Nebraska. They were number one for a long time, and then they were not.
And then they were not. That is true.
Yeah. Well, Ann, Walter, thank you so much for spending some time, sharing your nuggets with everyone.
Thank you, Brian, for having me. I appreciated joining you today. It's always good
My-
to connect with people I enjoy.
My pleasure. And if anyone has questions about Kansas City, call Ann.
I'm available to answer your great questions about Kansas City.
As long as it doesn't conflict with other important things that she's already committed to.